lot to talk about. Now, as we said before we went to break, it has been a while since we spoke to Coach Tim Plough after a loss. In fact, it has been exactly since the opening game of the season against Cal. No one's going to no one's going to hate on UC Davis for losing at Cal. It's a tough matchup. That's a tough game. Just like nobody's going to hate on UC Davis for losing to Montana State. That was crazy, as we talked about on Monday, Jason, because you had so many different things going on. That Tyson Paul fight, or whatever you want to call it. You had the night before, you had the UFC the following night. I think you had a Kings. There was a lot of stuff going on, and here I am on my phone watching this game, jumping up and down, because that last 6+ minutes was absolutely insane. Hopefully his blood pressure has recovered as we go to the mayor of Shredville, Coach Tim Plough. Coach, it's Dave and Jason. Good morning.
Boys, how we doing?
Good. I mean, I think we're I'm recovering from the Coach. Was that I've been waiting to talk to you. You almost pulled it off. That last 6+ minutes of that fourth quarter was insane. It was almost like, I don't know if you ever played Super Mario Brothers, but when Mario ate the star and became invincible, just everything was going nuts. It was all shaping up. You fell just short, but I imagine the issues you have with the game are one thing, but you were at least proud of the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, like I've tried to say, hopefully we don't have a lot of losses to talk about. But when we do, I think the thing I've tried to communicate is that I don't want our guys to feel like they need pats on the back. I don't want people to have to feel like, oh, you guys hung in there. Because we want to win. And that like any game, we made mistakes that cost us the football game. But I am always proud of our team because of how resilient they are and how much belief they have. And that felt like a real Aggie pride moment where, like Coach Stoker used to say, we're never going to stop playing when we're ahead, and we're never going to give up when we're behind. And they didn't. I mean, they have a unique belief that they can win any game. And they made that really, really scary for the Bobcats there for a little bit.
Yeah, Coach, how about that last 7 minutes then? Obviously, you scored early, and then that gap in between, it was tough sledding for you guys. What was different with the execution in the last 7 minutes that made it basically come down to a 2-point conversion, where if you get that, I think a lot of people think you end up winning that game?
Yeah, I think the interesting part for us and where there's value in the game regardless of the outcome, and why we got to detach from the result is that, our guys have not played in a lot of games like that. They just haven't been in games that are so meaningful and are so important. I mean, it's a playoff game, to be quite honest, a playoff atmosphere. And I just think that it took our guys too long to come down from that. And I think there was definitely some inexperience and guys trying to do too much. And so we just had a lot of out of character mental errors, which I take full responsibility for. And I got to do a better job preparing them for that. But I think once they calmed down, and to be honest, it probably was, we're down by 3 scores. I know I told the team, hey, I've looked at the game plan. I don't have a play that scores 22 points. So we might as well just, take it one play at a time here. And I think they just finally relaxed and started just playing their game. And then, it's kind of like a wave, like we talk about the Shredville offense for a long time. Sometimes it just feels like a wave. And once it starts going, the tidal wave keeps rising. And then one guy makes a play, another guy makes a play. And all of a sudden the other team feels like, oh my gosh, we can't stop these guys. And our defense had played well all game, and they kept us in it. And then finally the offense got some momentum, and it was wild there for a little bit.
UC Davis coach Tim Plough with us. A couple things. Number one, maybe not to tell you how to do your job, but maybe work on that 22-point play. Secondly, you said something interesting, and one of the many reasons I enjoy having you on, Coach, is that there's no ego here. You're always very open and honest with us, and I really do appreciate that. You said I have to do a better job at preparing them for a game like that, for situations like that, and I'm honestly curious. How do you do how does that work? What didn't you do?
think what we talked about as a staff is I just believe that I can't create the environment, right? Like I can't create the atmosphere of the game itself because I can't get 20,000 people to come to practice, and I can't bring Montana State to practice. So what I can do is I can create intensity for them in the sense of they feel like every play matters at practice, the way that every play matters in the game. And we try to do that every week as a staff, and we try to hold the guys accountable to that. But I think it became clear, especially offensively in the game, that just the speed of it and the intensity of it, our guys just, I don't think mentally we're prepared for it. And so we can't really get that type of experience. The last 2 weeks to play at Montana on national television and then play at home against arguably the best team in the country, we can't really buy that kind of experience. So I do think both those games will help us. But man, I just wish anytime like I told the guys, anytime we lose a game, I should be the one that everyone blames or looks at because there's something I could have done. And then anytime we win a game, I think the players deserve all the credit because they found a way in the game to get that done. So I think when I look at that scenario, I just first look at, dang, we could have done a better job as a staff getting them ready. And I think that we're excited to do that. You know, we're excited that we have more football games, hopefully, to try to do a better job at that.
Well, the immediate one you have in front of you is an easy one to get yourself ready for, the players ready for. It's a rivalry game. We know what it means to the region. You were a player there. You've been an assistant. Now you're the head coach. And the other part about, you know, getting your players ready, Coach, I'm for you. You're coaching against a friend, or you've called Andy Thompson family, basically. So this game's got to be unique for you in the fact that it's a Causeway. You know what it means, but also facing Andy Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first part about the Causeway, I just, you know, I love UC Davis football, and so I love all these meaningful games. You know, I love the game against the team down south, and I love the game against the team across the Causeway. I know how important those games are to our alumni and to our students and to our players, and so anytime I've been a part of this game, it's been meaningful. So yeah, I'm very excited to be walking out there leading the guys into such an important game every year. And then, you know, with Andy, I just, you know, we've all been through a lot as coaches. We've all had some really high highs and we've all had some really low lows. And when you meet someone that becomes so close to you and your wife and your kids, and I mean, he's Uncle Andy to my son. So I think it's really cool that him and I have worked so hard to both get in positions where we're head coaches and you know, 20 minutes down the road from each other. And I know, like I've said, I root for Andy Thompson more than any coach in the country every single week, except for 1 week. So it'll be fun to compete. It's always fun to compete against his teams, but it's really not him against I. Luckily for me, because he'd probably, you know, if we played basketball or something, he'd probably take me out. But I think the nice thing is it's just our team. So preparing our teams to play well, and I know he'll do that. So we got to do a good job.
Last thing for you, Coach, you know, it has been part of the fun of watching UC Davis this year has been our conversations and then seeing them play out, wondering what we're going to talk about the next week. And I was thinking about the fights as I have ever since you brought that up. And it's funny. There was a UFC fight Saturday. I know you do boxing. Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira. And Oliveira was beating his ass for 4 rounds, and Chandler's got huge power. And in the 5th round, Chandler caught him a couple times. And you left that fight, you know, we're jumping up, screaming, watching it. Oliveira kind of got him to the ground, rode the timeout. You're thinking, God, if there was only one more round, Chandler might have won the fight. And then I started thinking of the classic. Richard Steele reffed Meldrick Taylor, Julio Cesar Chavez when Chavez was undefeated. Yeah. And Chavez did get, you know, he did get the 2-point conversion. He did win in overtime. And I started thinking about the lessons through boxing that you could take from that. You may very well see these guys again. And I wonder if part of gaining, as you say, from a loss and lessons is that I think UC Davis proved they can not only hang with that team, but you could beat that team. I got to think those players would love to see him again pretty soon.
Well, not that I wanted to lose the football game, but
right.
I knew the game was going to be close, and there's a reason I picked Holyfield Bo, because I know that Holyfield fought Bo again, and it went differently. So, that was a little bit of planning on my end. So I hope that I know our guys really hope to play him again. I know in 2018 we got our doors blown off by Eastern Washington by 100 points, I think, and then we played them 4 weeks later in the semifinals, and it was a lot different. So I think it's hard to beat a team multiple times in a season, and I think we gained some great experience. But I also know that, like I told our guys, like, we can't let Montana State beat us twice. We need to make sure we focus on ourselves this week and improving the things that we did not do well, because I know the head coach on the other team, and I know that they're going to be extremely prepared and ready to play, and we've worked really hard to get to this point, and so we need to play our best football on Saturday, and hopefully get back on the right track here, and hopefully that sets us up better for postseason football and puts us in a position where maybe we can take a run at this thing.
Well, there's a reason I go by Carmichael Dave, because I'm, from Carmichael, which is Sacramento. As you know, it's a suburb. And when I was 4 years old, my dad asked me, where do you want to go to college? And I said, well, of course I want to go to Sac State. Fast forward to my senior year in high school, Rio Americano, and I filled out my application. And at the very end, where you had the essay portion, I wrote my essay, and then at the bottom, I drew a picture of me holding hands with the Sac State Hornet. And I sent that in, and about a month later, I got my reply, and it was the entire admission staff. They were all CC'd on the reply that they sent me, and it was just 3 letters, LOL. And I was crushed, and I don't know that I've ever gotten over that. I know we're dealing with family here. I know, look, it's Sac State. I still root for them, but Coach, you know what to do. You know what to do there, okay?
Well, as usual, I need these pep talks, because I haven't really known what to tell the team this week to get them excited about this game, because Lord knows they're probably not excited at all. And so I said, hey, now I can talk to them about the real reason to get excited is, if Sac State's treating our guy Dave that way, then we need to make sure we defend his honor and get after these boys. So I appreciate, as usual, just the added motivation. And but man, I'm excited for the game. I got a lot of respect for Andy and his team, and I know that this will be a battle, as it always is. Throw the record books out, and it sounds like, as usual, it's going to be in an atmospheric river, and we'll be ready to roll.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you after. Can't wait to hear what the fight is as well. All that good stuff. We're always with you from Shredville. So appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys, and let's find some joy this week, even at the expense of the team across the Causeway. All right.
That's right. You take care. That is Coach Plough. We'll take a break. I never told you that story, did I, Jason?
No, it's the first time I'd heard that one.
You're my guy. You're my brother in arms. Love you to death. But Causeway Classic week, it's a different story, man. We'll take a break when we come back. Well, hey, we'll dedicate this segment to every fan of a team that is not doing great. Just be thankful you're not a New York Jets fan. We'll talk about the latest there right after this.
2 to 8 year